Like this.
Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. Sick. All right. This
Looking
is To
great.
Be Human. This is the first, I don't know, full studio setup we got going on here.
It's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is full. Full enough for me, at least.
I'm going to have to like practice switching these buttons without thinking about it.
Dude, those things have to be fun.
Anyway, cool. Dude, thanks for being here. Thanks for, I know
Absolutely.
we were supposed to start an hour ago, hour and a half ago.
Yeah, that's all right. At least we're here now.
We made a little detour to Costco, pick up another hard drive so that way we could successfully do
like
this
a good
today.
little Costco run, you know? Like,
Ain't nothing bad with that.
yeah, it's good for the heart, good for the soul.
Right.
As long as you're not spending over a stack.
Costco, I think you're usually spending like a stack, though. It's hard not to.
Bro, you walk in, one thing's a stack. It's crazy. Like,
I mean, no, one thing that I realized, everything in Costco is like minimum of $10. There's nothing under $10.
is that true?
I mean, like if you go through buying the food and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
if you buy like a big thing of Chex Mix, or I feel like everything, maybe small bags of chips, but I feel like you buy like a box of granola bars or everything's $10.
Yeah,
like
easy.
right around $10.
Yeah, because it's like for a family. Like you basically have like you go in as a solo person or like a bachelor or even one extra person. It's like you and your girl or you and your guy. It's like you're getting something for 4 people, and then you have to be like, well, it's cheaper. It's cheaper than buying like 4 of those exact same things, but.
But that's the thing when going there for yourself, though, is like most of the time I think you end up, I mean, you just want it for you, but then you're like, well, I can buy bulk. It's cheaper. So
Yeah.
you just buy bulk. I don't know about for you, but for me, that just means I end up eating way too many snacks because then I don't know, because whenever I buy something, I have this like, there's this like subtle, I need to finish this, need to finish
it's like a
this
race.
box. Right.
You're like racing against time. You're like, because I'll go there, right? And I'll get like bread. And I'm like, okay, I need bread, of course. Like, I like eating stuff like that. I like putting stuff on top of my bread. But the only caveat is that it's fresh. There's no preservatives. So it's literally a race
It'll
against
go
time.
bad.
It'll go bad in like 4 or 5 days. And you're like,
mold.
how do I justify eating 12 croissants within 4 days? You know, like, it's insane to me.
No, that's a good point. It doesn't feel healthy, but at the same time, you don't want to be wasteful.
No,
You're trying to be mindful of your carbon footprint and all that. So.
Oh, yeah. And at that point, I'm like, I might as well just hand these out. Like,
hey, you live in Deep Ellum.
I do, yeah.
That about to say, I bet if you got food in Deep Ellum and you're like, what do I do with this food? You just go fucking set it in the alleyway and somebody probably picks it up.
Yeah, let the birds pick out of whichever.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best. Do people consider that littering? Because I feel like the food disappears.
I would consider it. Well, here's the thing. Is it littering if there's a barrier between the food? Like if it's in a plastic bin, you just set it down. Is that technically littering?
I think it just depends on how long it stays on the ground. If somebody picks it up pretty quickly, it's not. I don't know. I always remember when I worked at the Woolworth downtown Dallas, and I lived at the end of Deep Ellum, so I would like skate through Deep Ellum every day to go into work. And there was this one homeless guy. I forget his name now, but I would see him like every day and always wave to him, say hi. And then like one day, I think he asked me for money, and I was like, I don't have any money. I got some food though. And all I had was like salads. I had like these 2 salads with me, like.
You're like, I got literally the worst option for you.
But I mean, technically it's probably the best option. But generally speaking, homeless people don't want salad. You know what I mean,
I don't think regular people are like, I don't want an outside salad.
Right, but it was like a nice shrimp salad. To be fair.
Oh, okay. You add shrimp into the mix. It's a lot different.
There was some good protein. It was a delicious salad.
Okay.
It was a great salad, but most homeless people want fucking pizza or something.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I like gave it to him. Didn't know if he was going to use it. I assumed he might just throw it away. And then like 2 days later or something, I'm like riding back through Deep Ellum. He's like, bro, hey, yo, that salad was so good. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, he actually liked it. Like, it made me happy. I was like, he enjoyed it.
That had to have been like the first ever like situation where somebody's like, bro, that salad was incredible. Like,
not only was I
he
not
came
sure
back to tell you that.
That was what surprised me, because not only did I thought he might just waste it and throw it away. Even if I gave him a hot dog, I wouldn't expect him to like follow up later and be like, dude, that was so good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
it's the follow-up that was like astounding.
Right.
You're like, you're telling me you loved the salad?
Hey, it just goes to show, I guess, you don't really ever know. Like, you kind of just gotta, I don't know. You can't judge a book by its cover all the time.
Bro,
I
I've
guess.
seen
It was a great salad though.
one time I was like at a stoplight and I looked to my right and there's a homeless person that like there was a regular person walking by and they had like a bag of popcorn, like the regular like in-store bought popcorn. So they give it to him and I'm not kidding, dude. The homeless person looks at it, walks to the nearest trash can and just throws it away and kept walking off. And I was like, that's that's crazy. But then again, it's popcorn. You know, like I don't see that being the best snack, but if you're homeless, you know, who knows? If I were homeless, I would have been like, dude, thank you so much for this big ass bag of popcorn. I'm gonna eat this for the rest of my life. It's so good.
Yeah.
Or feed it to the birds, something. I don't know.
The problem is, I don't think half the time they're looking for sustenance so much as they're just. I think also about drugs and like alcohol, and because most of them are on drugs and alcohol, is that like it creates this like you're chasing dopamine, right?
Yes.
Like your dopamine is like been so flooded, like so you need high dopamine food, which again is pizza, and like it's stuff that's like heavy and greasy, like that's
cheese.
what is like high dopamine releasing food for whatever reason. It's not salad. Salad doesn't generally make you, if you're hungry, like starving, you're not normally like craving a salad.
Right. I don't think I wake up in the morning and I'm like, dude, I would love a salad right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't say there's ever been a morning where I was just dying to have a salad, but
you gotta be some other kind of person to like wake up and immediately want salad. It's crazy.
Yeah, I usually don't think I want food much at all in the mornings, to be honest.
Dude, I hate eating in the morning. Personally, I hate it. I can't. It's such a chore to me because even though like we fast for 8 hours while we sleep, and I wake up and I'm like, I could just keep doing this. Like I could just go another fucking 4 or 5 hours just not eating and still feel okay. But when I do eat, I feel way better, and I'm like, huh, I can actually live this day now. Like it's like a mental change whenever I do and like include breakfast into my day. I'm like, why haven't I been doing this my whole life? And I start thinking that way and I'm like, okay, I can actually do this. And I'm eating every day and I'm satiated and I'm not like hating myself by mid-afternoon being like, I haven't eaten anything today. Like, I wonder why.
Right. You don't feel like it's, I don't know. For me, I feel like the struggle I have is I have all this energy from not eating. Cause I think when you don't eat, like when you are in a fasting, I think like you get like an adrenaline drip or something. Like,
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Your body kind of kicks in this other like different state of being, and
it's like survival mode almost.
Right. And so I feel like I have a lot more energy and a lot more focus, and then I eat and I don't have it. But then it's like finding that perfect balance, because if you don't eat, you have energy and focus until you get so hungry that you can't focus because you're thinking about food. Right. But then if you eat too much, you become oversatiated, and then you become all your body's resources go to digestion, and then you become sleepy and you become lethargic, and I'm lazy, and I'm like, I'm done doing stuff today now. So it's like finding that perfect middle ground, I guess, of how much to eat and how much not much to eat. I mean, we were talking about this too in the car just now, how like with the gym, like I was definitely having to learn with like exercising and how much food that I needed to have in my body, and like how much because the other part is just my mood. Like maybe I didn't feel hungry, but maybe I was grumpy.
Yeah.
And it was just because I didn't eat, or maybe I had brain fog just because I hadn't eaten, and so
Yeah, I like the idea of becoming older and kind of just like becoming more in tune with who you are and what you consume plays a huge part into what you're going to feel in the future, like cause and effect. Like if I wait until 10 p.m. right to eat, and that's my like dinner time, then I'm like, I'm super limited on what I can eat. I can only eat this. If I go out, I'm only gonna eat like shit. And if I do eat like shit, then I'm gonna hate myself tomorrow.
Right.
Or if I consume sugar, then my brain is obviously not gonna be in like full functional form. So
you brought up another good point too, because if you go too long without eating, then by the time you finally eat, you just gorge yourself, and
Yes.
that creates like its own negative effect.
Yeah, and anything works. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll just eat this hot dog, or like I'll eat this fucking pizza,
Right.
and
Right.
like I'm like,
Your
that's fine.
your judgment and your like ability to have discipline, I think, goes down for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Because you're fighting against your own like inhibitions. Because you're like, oh my god, like I know that I'm gonna do this. Like I know I'm capable of doing this because I do it all the time. And then you're like, you have to push away from that idealism where you're like, I don't need that because obviously it only does bad things for me. And it's the disciplining that like builds your brain and your body that's like, hey, if I don't consume that, then obviously I'm going to feel a lot better tomorrow or feel a lot better in the next couple hours. You know, it's like you indulge in things or you don't indulge in things, and that's how it affects you. So if I consume good food, I like myself. I feel better. I feel satiated longer. I'm like, oh yeah, I had a parfait this morning instead of like bacon and eggs. You know, like I feel more sluggish with bacon and eggs. With a parfait, I get all these nutrients, these macronutrients, like micronutrients, and I'm like, okay, I feel lighter. I feel like I can, like I have all my nutrients. Like my body is not fighting against itself right now. So I don't know. I think just dieting helps so much. So much, dude.
It's hard to find that perfect rhythm, though. I think it's hard to figure out what works best for your body, because that's the other thing, is that everybody's body's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all different. So it's like we're going to have to focus on like our BMI, like body mass index, and figuring out how much protein we're going to need for whatever we do. So it's like, you know, you kind of take into consideration that we need the general 2,000 calories just to live.
Right.
On top of whatever we do with like working out or going on walks or even talking. Like talking, we're burning calories right now. Like
that's why I also too, I was saying like with exercise, like I realized I was like, for me, it's actually hard to gain weight because like you said, because I mean, I'm 6'6", like I'm just a big dude.
Yeah, I can only assume it's like kind of a pain to get gains just like being a big dude.
Yeah, I definitely, I mean, if I'm really tracking macros and all that, because technically I mean, now they're saying you take like a gram of protein per pound of body weight. And so for me, that's like 200 grams of protein a day.
And that's so dumb. Like it's
and
so
it's
much.
Like, I think what's easy and normal is like 120.
Yeah.
140. I find it's pretty normal and easy for me to get there. To get to 200, I have to really try. I have to drink, and I don't think I can eat that much. I think I have to do more protein shakes. You know, I bought like a mass gainer, something specific just for like, it's like an 800 calorie 50 gram of protein shake, you know what I mean? And stuff like that I think helps. But
yeah, there's such a huge like increase in society being like, we need more protein. Like there's just more protein of everything.
Oh dude, it's almost like I think a fad right now. And I think I mean, the health industry has always gone through these different fads, I think, and protein is definitely the new hype one. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm literally seeing the Smoothie King billboard with the protein count of this new meal they have. Like when was that a thing? That was never a thing. Chipotle now has the protein count. For
yes, dude. I'm like,
that wasn't a thing before.
Why are y'all so fixated on protein now, opposed to any other time? You know what I mean? Like, why is it now? Like, what's going on? Like, there has to be some kind of like behind the scenes something.
Well, I think like at one, I don't know this for sure, but I remember growing up seeing Cheerios were always talking about cholesterol, and I wonder if back then cholesterol was a big thing, and so Cheerios became lauded as like low cholesterol.
Right.
Now like I think you still hear people talk about cholesterol, but it's not near like it used to be. Like I don't nobody really cares. I don't think.
It's interesting to me how knowledge now, or like more information, I guess, it's like more people are understanding of like what is in things. So they're more opposed to being like, I don't want that in me. Like, I don't want that. Same thing with like companies and their marketing. It's like a whole psychological thing for people to be like, maybe I do need more protein. Maybe I do need less fat. Maybe I do need like organic. You know what I mean? Like,
so do you think you're saying that you think the people are becoming more informed and almost like more independent in choosing what they do and don't want to have in their foods?
Oh yeah, because it's like we've only been given like bad examples from companies that are like Tyson, like they're only antibiotics in their food, or like certain companies that are like, yeah, this is good for you, but it actually isn't. Like, there's a lot of caveats to whatever they're serving you. Like, it could be good, but like they'd also have dyes in them. And then people notice, they're like, hey, what do those dyes do to you?
Yeah.
Cancer. Oh shit, better not have that. And I think that in itself is amazing. And I love that people are becoming more knowledgeable of what they consume, because we live in America, obviously. We're, like, FCC and like all those conglomerates are just bypassing all these things like that other countries do not put in their food for their citizens. And it's like, how are you going to have a functioning society or a functioning country if you're just giving shit to people that kills them eventually? Like, it seems so counterintuitive to me.
Yeah, I definitely noticed. Like I was at this foodie land thing, which is like a traveling food festival thing.
That sounds cool.
And I think it started in Cali, but they travel around. So they did one in Dallas and one in Fort Worth. Anyway, I worked at the Fort Worth one, and I just couldn't help but notice, looking around at like all the different stuff, that like it wasn't like this is the best farm to table burger. This is the best, grandma's recipe pho. This is like, no, it was how many things can we shove in a cup?
Yeah.
Macaroni, mashed potatoes, a slider, sausage stick, all in this big cup. Like, it's just
super fair food.
But like, why does that look appealing? It does look appealing though, because you see it, like, oh damn, there's all these things that I like all in one cup.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you, like there's this place called Fat Shack. You remember Fat Shack?
That sounds super familiar.
So Fat Shack, I don't know if they exist anymore, but like 5-10 years ago, Fat Shack was like a place you would order. I never saw a physical location. I would only order on DoorDash, but it was like a Philly cheesesteak with mozzarella sticks and jalapeno poppers.
Oh, bro.
It was just like the thing is, you read the ingredient list and it was like, oh my god, this sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, it wasn't that great.
No.
Like those things were great separately, but because you liked all those things separately, you think they'd be good if they weren't great together. Like, it just didn't necessarily work inside of a sandwich. But then I also, but it's, I think what I'm trying to say is, it feels like they're playing more on the fact of how appealing it is to the, like, again, I don't think there's any thought into the nutrition of this. There's no thought into like, how does this actually, like, all the thought is just, how good does this look and how much will people want to buy this?
Because they play on the aesthetic of the product more so, because they're like, people love cheese. Like, people fucking love cheese. Let's put on as much cheese as we can into this burger, then as much meat.
Dude, as a lactose intolerant, I swear there's a conspiracy. I swear there's like some sort of like, why is milk in everything?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm only just realizing, like, those Colombes and the Chobani, like the Chobani new high protein stuff.
Yeah.
Most of them they have lactase in them.
Oh,
which
really?
Which means it pre-digests the lactose. So there's still dairy in it, but for somebody like me that's lactose intolerant, it doesn't bother me at all.
Because your body has problems breaking down those enzymes, right?
Right.
So it's like, it bypasses having to break that down, so you can just consume it and be good.
Right.
See, I feel so bad for people that are lactose intolerant, but it's like the vast majority of us are, and we're just like consuming this product just so we can be like, yeah, it's normal. Like, they say it's normal, so we consume it, but it's like we're breaking out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we feel like shit whenever we consume it. We don't feel good. It's like a temporary high, and then it's super low afterwards. So
see, and I don't know, because I wonder that. I'm like, are we genetically designed? What is natural? Is it natural for us to consume dairy products? Because I know that evolutionarily, I think we only evolved with the genetics to digest lactose.
Mm-hmm.
Most, not everybody, but I think a majority of the, maybe I'm totally wrong there. I think a majority of the world, maybe it's not of the world, maybe it's just based on regions, but I think in America, most people do have the genes to digest dairy.
Mm-hmm.
But that gene only evolved in the last like 2,000 years.
See, that's
which means
so
that for
early.
most of humanity, we were not eating dairy.
Right.
It's like something very new. Which then I think about, I'm like, so whose fucking parents were out there like eating the slime from the cows until their body stopped throwing it up to where now we could digest it properly? Like, that's what it almost sounds like to me.
It's so weird to me how it's like, it's obviously bad to just drink milk, like straight up milk, but then we have butter, right? There's butter in like almost everything. and it's from this. It's a derivative of milk, but it's the same thing. It's just broken down differently. But isn't it the same thing? It's like it's the same thing. Like you could just take milk and then make it into butter, and then you put it into whatever. You're still feeling the effects of as if you drank that milk, right?
For somebody that's lactose intolerant like me, I can handle butter pretty
You
well.
can.
Yeah.
So then it has to be different. It has to have like.
I think different things have higher levels of lactose in them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was kind of looking into this. I think like mozzarella, for example, is higher
Yeah,
in
because it's whole
lactose
milk.
versus like sharp cheddar is
Mm-hmm.
lower because and like aged cheddar and yogurt apparently those are lower in lactose.
Yeah, because those are technically fermented, I think. So like it's like they use a process just to make it, and I think that process breaks down a lot of
Right.
those things like lactose or whatever else that could be ailing for some people.
Dude, if I can just spin this way off now, off of what is natural, something like a thought that's been in my head. Fucking was listening to Joe Rogan recently. I can't remember who he was talking to, but he was talking about how we're a hive mind species, which I think we are, right? We to our core, we look to the tribe to try to find information, right? What makes us stand apart from every other mammal is that we're able to pass down information and we're able to learn from previous generations in a way that other animals can't. Now, other animals, like this kid in Asia somewhere, I think he's like 6 or 7 or 8, like super young, and he recently proved that butterflies actually do.
I
I think you
saw
saw so
that. Yeah, yeah.
they pass information down, without words, right?
Yeah.
Because he was able to prove that but he used, he did some sort of experiment where he made these certain butterflies not like lavender, and then like 3-4 generations later they still didn't like
They just
lavender.
didn't touch the
So
stuff.
I think there's stuff we still don't understand about that, but anyways, AI and humans and what is natural, what's not natural. um Algorithms. I'm saying a bunch of stuff because I'm trying to figure out how to articulate the thought, but it seems like we are racing towards this hive mind singularity moment
Mm.
because like more and more and more people today are not consciously creating or consciously choosing how they want their life to be. They're simply kind of following an algorithm, which is go to school, get a job, do this, do that, whatever. And we're all kind of playing the same game. Very few people are Elons where they are like, I want to do this the way I want to do it, and and everybody's like, you can't do it. Screw you. I'm gonna figure out how to do it, and does it anyway. And a lot of people hate on him, but like that is something that's very admirable about him is that people will say you can't possibly do that, and he says I'm gonna do it anyway. Not a lot of people are doing that though, because a lot of people are choosing the safety nets of like what has been done before, what is logical, I guess, what is practical in society.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think that like, and with AI and algorithms, because algorithms are getting better and better and better at predicting what we want, that it's getting to the point that it's also able to shape what we want.
Right.
Right. So initially, people were all very unique and had their own wants and desires, but the algorithms have learned from that and is now able to just kind of create an average what it thinks people enjoy,
Yeah.
are going to want to look at. And I think that like, I just don't know. Like Joe Rogan basically said he thinks it's inevitable. He says he's like, I think the hive mind is inevitable, which sounds like something an alien that is trying to like get everybody unified under one consciousness would say.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, is it inevitable though? Is that natural? Like, is it natural to trust, I guess, algorithms and coding to decide what we do and don't want with life?
I would say no, it's not natural. Just because, like, as a human being, what is your instinct to do whenever you go onto social media? Like, what's your first thing you want to do whenever you go on there?
So that's the exact thing. Is I think,
You want to see what you want to see, right?
but do we know what we want to see? Because I think most of the time I pop up my phone, open Instagram, and I just whatever the first thing is, what I'm going to look at.
This algorithm.
And then I'm going to scroll a little bit, or I might go to my DM because somebody sent me a reel, and I'll hit that reel, and then I go to the next reel that's after. So it's I might start with one thing that I wanted to see, but I always inevitably end up scrolling with whatever the algorithm wants to show me. I'm
Yeah.
not picking what I want to see.
Because it's picking apart what you want to know and want to see. So
Right.
it'll be like, okay, this guy likes dogs. This guy likes bicycles. This guy likes food. This guy likes this. All these categories for it to be like, okay, we have all this content that we could just throw in front of their face over and over again, and they'll be able to be happy with it, hopefully. And then it evolves. It like continues, and I think that's what's going to be in the near future. Is like it's going to just cater to whatever we want personally. Like anything that we want to see, it's just like, yep, I want to see that. Yep, I want to see that. Yep, this is doing exactly what I want it to do. And it's
See,
not
and
like,
like that sounds on one hand that sounds so unnatural, but then also like if it's giving me what I want, is that not,
if
you
it
know what I
gives you what
mean?
you want, why wouldn't you want like something else outside of what you usually see? Like I feel like as a human being, we're naturally curious. We want to know more about like who we are, what's around us, what is being put in front of us. Like
Hmm.
I want to know more about social media because humans obviously made it. And then like they're making it for us to consume, and then we consume it, and then we're just sitting here like, all right, what more can I consume? What more can I keep going? Like,
Right.
if, say, for example, like social media was out, like there was none left, what are we naturally doing? Going to each other and talking. So we would go to a place to converse with others, our humans, and get information that way, opposed to looking on a screen, getting all the information that is being put in front of us to consume that the algorithm wants us to consume, instead of being like formulating your own opinions on things, or
Right, because
like,
that's the thing that I think a lot of people, they paint it negatively by saying you're not even picking what you want to look at. You're letting the algorithm decide for you what you want to see.
because I mean, like you start off like in any social media, and it's like, what categories do you like? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like sports, animals, blah 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 blah. So it can cater to whatever you like at
Right,
first, and then it just develops over time.
right. But so I think people oftentimes they like make it sound negative. They say like, oh, you're not even picking what you want to look at anymore. You're just letting the algorithm decide. Because I saw someone make a post about that saying that like nobody chooses what they want to look at anymore, right? We just kind of let the all-seeing algorithm determine what it is I want to look at that day.
Yeah.
And they said that, and I was like, oh, that sounds bad. That I'm not picking what I want to look at. But then I was like, but is that really unnatural? Because like, okay, when we had TV, okay, yes, there was a T before. Now we got all the streaming services, so now you can literally pick what you want to watch. So I think people
Mhm.
are actually probably more choosy than ever about what they want to consume
Oh
now.
yeah.
Because before you just had a TV guide and you had to pick from the available channels, and you had to pick from what the channels were choosing to show you at that point. So I think,
Mhm.
and you know, at one point in time, we only had very handful of channels. So you watch whatever program was
Yeah.
on, you know. So I don't know if it really is that unnatural. I guess what I'm trying to say is it sounds almost that like we're a hive mind, and I'm just going to let an algorithm decide what I want to do with my life, but then at the same time maybe that's not so crazy. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I wouldn't consider it crazy. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't consider it crazy at all. My thing is like with the hive mind is, how can we have a hive mind if we're so divided among so many different things? You know what I mean? Like, how are we able to come together as a conglomerate and be like, that's wrong, that's right, and then come to a consensus about that? You know, like that is so difficult. Now, if that were
You're right.
the
That right there like like destroys the entire hive mind argument.
exactly, so like
At least currently.
if we had a hive mind, we wouldn't have different opinions on things.
Yeah.
You and I would not be talking right now. We would just be like, "Yep, that's how it is. That's exactly how it's supposed to be." Yep. We all, as a collective, agreed on that, and now here we are. But we're individuals. We're able to come up with our own ideas, our own opinions, and like kind of just drive whatever our opinions are, and then go up against people or go with people with those ideas, and then kind of go from there. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
That was a good counter argument. Cause yeah, I do get this like sinking feeling in my stomach thinking about the fact that we could become just a giant hive mind species with like little to no individuality left, and that sounds like terrifying.
Yeah.
But you're right. If it were really that easy, we would not be half of what social media is right now is people arguing over
Oh my
politics,
god.
and all that would not exist anymore. So it's like,
Oh
okay,
my
no, we're very
god, so
far from being
often.
a true hive mind species. Honestly, that just made me appreciate how much people argue.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Like,
debates are
that's
for a good.
thing.
I love debates because it's like you have one side, you have another side, and then like one side has better ideas, and then one it's like obviously I don't know, or like it could be the other opposite way, you know, like it's such a big teeter totter.
Mm.
Like the teeter totter can never be balanced with two people on it, right? Like it's always gonna go up and down, and then
Mm.
one person has an idea, one person has an idea, and then it just goes from there. So it's like the teeter totter in itself is what keeps us balanced with having to talk about things like there's that, there's this, blah blah blah. I don't know about that. I know about that. And like you can go off of that, and I think that's a cool thing. Like spider webs.
That's kind of just, that feels like that's the yin yang.
Yes.
You know, like that's reality of life. I took, like 2 grams of shrooms over this weekend.
Hell yeah.
And
that was fun.
yeah, like you saw that video, the video I just posted at the lake, right? Because that was me.
Yeah.
So that was me. I like was coming down when we were recording that, and
It's always fun coming down. You're like, oh, what a time.
for real, it definitely is very enlightening. But I just lost my thought.
You were doing shrooms.
Yeah,
You're
but
coming down off shrooms.
before that,
Talk about hive minds, debates, teeter totters.
teeter totters, the balance. So every time when I take mushrooms, I feel like balance inside me is restored, because like the last time I'd taken shrooms was Burning Man.
Oh wow!
So it's been like a year.
But that was intense.
And I mean, it's and not like any more intense than taking them anywhere else. But like, in fact, I feel like it's less intense because at Burning Man, it's such a perfect container. You're never worried at Burning Man about people looking at you weird. Like that's such a beautiful place where like that's one place where I don't really ever worry about anybody judging me.
See,
and if they do judge me, I don't give a fuck because there's so many other people doing weird shit around me that it doesn't matter.
Right.
So you feel much more free to just do whatever and be expressive, and it's more socially acceptable. But anyway, every time I take shrooms, I feel like over time this calcification happens on my brain, and I always say it feels like mud collecting on my boots. Like I feel like I'm walking in mud, and each step is getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And eventually, at some point or other, you gotta fucking clean off the boots. You gotta knock it all off. And I always am struggling with this like idea. I'm like, why can't I just sustain this like peace?
Yeah.
Like what does it take to like feel
like consistently good that
right?
way?
Like why do I feel like
It's
I
hard.
have to keep forgetting and then remembering and then forgetting and then remembering? And when I say forgetting, I mean like forgetting the point of life, which is just exist and just develop relationships and build and create and explore and have fun. Like experience the full range of everything, like pain, sorrow, happiness, whatever. Like all those things should be experienced, and none of them should be demonized or like made to, you shouldn't run away from any of those things.
No, you should embrace those things because we're the only species really to feel all that all at once. So it's like it's a beautiful thing to experience pain and loss and however many different kinds of emotions we can feel, especially on shrooms. So intense, dude.
Right.
Everything comes all together at once at you, and you're like, huh, now I understand that more. Now I got that out of that. And it's a lot of like figuring out what you think and what everything around you thinks, and then it kind of just develops over time. Like the realization has to be quite huge after a shroom trip, I'm sure, especially at Burning Man. Like that's
I think I had some really crazy experience. I mean, I have had lots of big revelations from mushrooms, but I've also had, I don't want to say I think I'm far from the top or uncovering everything, but I feel like I've uncovered a lot that. But then here's the thing: you still forget.
Yeah.
Like I know from my experiences and from what I've learned and from what I've, seen, that we are all one, that we are all unified, that this consciousness is like just fragments itself into so many different people, and experiencing an individual expression of what it means to be alive and to be human. Like, I know that to be true. I and nothing else makes more sense to me. But I can't help but, like, over time start to feel stressed about, I can't think of a great example, like, um you just start becoming stressed about things that don't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you become stressed about, like, I become so caught up in my routines. Like, oh my God, did I eat enough protein today? Oh my God, did I get 8 hours of sleep last night? Did I drink enough water? Did I drink too much caffeine today? Like,
Yeah.
all this stupid shit, and it really becomes huge. Like, I feel stress. Like, I feel like
it physically affects
physical
you.
heaviness in my life because I'm so worried about all these little routines and little, like, I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm trying to do what's right for my body, and those are good things to strive for. But, like,
It's, you strive for the good things, but then striving that hard for that causes stress, which
right,
is it's
right,
like there's a caveat to that. Like,
right.
it's so weird.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it has to be balanced. At the end of the day, you have to achieve some sort of homeostasis. And I forgot, this is where we came from. You were talking about the fucking seesaw, or the teeter totter. What do you call it?
Teeter totter.
Teeter totter. And yeah, how, like, on the teeter totter, it's one person is always going to be up or down, or up or down. And I forget, this is where we started this whole conversation. We're talking about politics, stuff like that too. It's almost like in everything, we're not ever meant to have, even homeostasis. Like, there's, like, pieces in our body that are, like, I was listening to this Huberman podcast the other day talking about marijuana, and how when people smoke, I don't remember any of the terms. If somebody knows neurology, they'll probably know what I'm talking about, though, if I'm recounting properly. But there's something in you that is able to regulate how high you feel, and we can do better with, like, marijuana versus, like, opiates. It's much easier to flood the system before your system can regulate itself. Versus with marijuana, generally it's much easier for the body to regulate itself as you get higher, and so that's why people don't typically overdose or do too much of it or whatever. And despite all these, like, systems in our body trying to keep us regulated and keep us balanced, it's like forces fighting against each other, because it's like they're trying to stay homeostatic. I don't know if that's how you say that, but it never is. It's you know what I mean? It's always
topsy-turvy, or like one end or the other, like one cup's more filled than the other. It's always going to be that way. Can't be equal in that sense, I don't think.
And I never know why. But I think I said this the other day. Me and my friend Stacy were saying, like, if there were an answer for it, it wouldn't really be a question. Like, we wouldn't care.
You would never question.
It would just be like, whatever.
It is what it is. I wish I had that mindset all the time. Like sometimes I look at animals and I'm like, dude, they're just doing what they do. Like, they're born, they do what they do, they die. And it's like, how come we are so much more complex than that? Like, why? That's what bothers me. That's the question that I wonder. I'm like, what makes us so complex in our brains to where we're constantly thinking about, like, the worst and the best and the middle ground of everything? Like, we're constantly worried, we're constantly stressed, we're constantly thinking about things that make us happy and bother us. But it's like, you look at an animal and that's like the perfect template of just, like, being as it is, like, you're born, you are instinctually doing things like a beaver, like a beaver's born, it's like in its family, it's in its little hut for so many years, and then they go and find a mate, and then they find a mate for life, because they're like, they'll mate for life, basically, and then they'll build dams, and then they die. Like, that's what they do. And the whole time, I don't think once they're like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing that? Why am I building this? Like, they don't have that existential, like, questioning like we
need
do.
for purpose, need for
Yes.
understanding.
It's like their purpose is by being there, like
Mm.
existing as they are. Like that is their purpose. But we as humans are like, what is my purpose? Like there's so many things that I could be a bricklayer, I could be like a tailor, I could go and I could flip burgers. Like what am I good for? Like we're always trying to find that individualism in ourselves, and I think that drives us fucking crazy, dude. Like
I think that's kind of what the over the last year or so I've been trying to unpack what the Bible means, because
it's a
because I used to grow up thinking of it as historically accurate, and then over time I was like, okay, maybe it's more trying to express things that are difficult to say in words, and so it's using stories, but maybe you're not supposed to take it quite so literally.
yeah,
So,
it's fairly analytical, I guess. Like, or they'll try to they'll be like, yeah, this story happened because of this. You know, like God killed him because of that. Like
right.
a bunch of stuff. Like so many different kinds of stories to like kind of play along with how life is or certain
But I think with
circumstances.
like specifically how we ate from the tree of good and evil, and how that changed everything, and I think that was the pivotal point. I think that made us stop being just beavers and made us start questioning what we did, because I think before then I think we were probably just content as a basic species that didn't question its function and simply operated the way it was built to do.
Mm,
And then once we gained the knowledge of good and evil, which I think was also self-awareness, because remember in the garden they suddenly realized they were naked and they never cared about being
they're
naked
like,
before. Now I was like, oh my god, I don't have clothes on.
better put a leaf there.
Right, but that was never an issue before that moment. And so I think yeah, something happened where we chose to make a step forward that led to self-awareness and being different from the other species. Because I mean, I think about that often too. Like, why can't I just be a fucking squirrel that just eats nut, lives in tree, lives happy, doesn't ever stress? Like you said, they don't ever want to question their existence. They don't ever have an existential crisis, because they realize that that's not the point. And that's also kind of, I think, I mean, we you asked why. I mean, we make it sophisticated. Like,
Yeah.
and I was thinking
Oh
about
yeah.
like, because we have sophistication, we have mics that can record our voices, and I have these cameras that can record our image. We have all these like that's what sophistication gives us, all this like new ways to play with meaning and reality, I
Mm,
think. And that's such a blessing. But the
I agree.
darkness to that is it's so much more complicated now that I think we regularly forget who we are. We forget that we're just a human, and it's even hard to say this, but maybe just waking up and walking through the day and going to bed is good enough. Like
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
that's a good enough day, and it doesn't require some level of productivity to be considered a worthy human of you successfully um reached your quota for humanism of the day, you know what I mean,
right.
or something like that. But um I mean, I definitely think that back to the again, I mean, I think a lot of it is meant to where the reason why we stay imbalanced is so that way we continue to explore and we don't just become set
And complacent
and
with
complacent in
everything.
one
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
You shouldn't. No,
Right.
because that's not who we are. We're
Right.
not ever gonna be like, yeah, whatever. Let's just we wake up, eat, shit, sleep. That's it. Like, no, I don't think any of us would do that. Oh,
Well, and
like personally.
sometimes people try like self-help people like will try to be like, you're okay to just do nothing. Like that's okay. Like you don't have to beat yourself up for not doing anything today. And I understand the reason of that is because there's people that are like overly ambitious that work a little too much. They're like workaholics, and like for them they maybe need that message to like, hey, it's okay to just kind of relax and
Yeah.
and take a day off. But also I think the reason like a lot of people get depressed and then do nothing because they're depressed, and then they stay depressed because they keep doing nothing. Now I think there's levels of depression where like doing nothing is what you need to do, like your body's kind of shutting down, and I get that. But then like it becomes this self-perpetuating cycle, because I think doing nothing will keep you depressed, because
Oh
your
yeah.
body is made to do stuff. Your body's made to create. Your brain is meant to think, to problem solve, to struggle. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think the struggle, back to the animal thing too, when I'm at Burning Man and stuff like that, and or just camping, any time that I'm out of sophisticated civilization where all the complication and the extra steps are kind of taken out, and it's simply, do I have a place to shit? Do I have a place to sleep? Can I make a fire to stay warm and make my food? Like you slim it down to just the bare minimum
Yeah.
of what you need to survive. And you know what? It's so goddamn peaceful.
It's just enough.
It's so peaceful.
Yeah, it's just enough.
Suddenly you don't care. Like, the last thing on your mind is like how much money you're gonna make, or how big your house is, or if your car is nice enough, or if you have the new iPhone. Like, that's no longer even a thought in your head.
No.
Your only thought is like present in the moment, and listening to the birds and enjoying a walk through the woods.
It's the small things, dude. It really is. And
now, I haven't lived out in the woods long enough to figure out when I get bored of that part, because I imagine we habituate to any state of being, you know what I mean? But
you know what I really want to do? Like, and I'll probably end up doing this sometime in like the next 5 years. I really want to go and just say, fuck it, and just backpack on the Appalachian Trail for like 3 months straight. Like, just say, to hell with all this. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to leave this here, all this shit behind me, and go over here for a little while and just meditate and go day by day, surviving, doing what people did back like long time ago, like just nomads, just fucking walking. You wake up, eat, walk. Wake up, eat, walk. Simple. Like, you're just existing, and it's so peaceful. Like, I watched a video of a guy who actually did it, and he just soloed, and he just video recorded himself doing the whole thing, and you could tell by after the first month, like, he was scared at first and nervous, like, as anybody probably would be, but he took it upon himself to, like, whatever he was dealing with, he's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna focus on this, I'm gonna just only do this and do it for 3-4 months and see how it goes. By the end of the first month, you could tell there was a glow on that guy's face. Like, he was living. He was actually living. And he, like, whatever he was thinking, he was not real. I'm sure he was just like playing everything through his head. And then after a while, he was like, well, I'm here now. Like, I don't have to worry about that because it's not affecting me. It's not personally, like, making me feel a certain way. Like, I'm here. I'm feeling this right now. I'm experiencing this and focusing on this. And that in itself was probably the most, like, free he's ever felt in his life. That's what that's my personal I was like, he seems like he is just living to live, and that's like the best thing to do.
Dude, it's funny you say that, because I've been craving something similar lately. I was thinking about backpacking. I was thinking about adventuring. I keep getting stuck on these people on Instagram that are train surfing or train ride. I forget what the term is, but where they hop on a train with a backpack with a sleeping bag on it and they go.
Bro, that's so hard
like,
now. That is so hard to do now
because of legality and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm sure
phones and shit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's dangerous. You don't want to get caught and all that stuff. But like, dude, I like watch that and I just feel this like ache in my chest. Like, I want to do that so bad. And I think, and as I was sitting here listening to you, I was kind of asking myself, like, why are we craving that? And I think honestly, it's because back to the algorithm thing. I don't think it is entirely natural to not know what you want, because I think deep down in our core, I think some of us are feeling this, like, who am I?
Yeah.
Like, who am I when all the noise goes away, when all the algorithms and all the advertisements and all the influence and all those things are taken out of the picture? Who am I? What do I like? What kind of ideas do I come up with? And that's why I think your idea of like going out on the trail for 3 months. I mean, I would maybe say start with a week.
Yeah,
because you'll
walk before you
learn
run.
a lot
Yeah.
in the 1 week. But nonetheless, even if you just took 3 days, but like a week especially.
Yeah. Go anywhere and just spend a week and then just like develop like doing that. See how it makes you feel.
But like a week without no social media, don't look at the news. Don't even talk to anybody except people that you meet.
Yeah.
Out there, don't keep up with it, because I think that could be a really useful, like, because I think we can learn more about ourselves through those kind of experiences.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Like, because I think I last year my album of the year was Sleep Token's. Was it called Even in Arcadia or whatever it was called?
Sidebar, is that the dude from Black Veil Brides?
No,
It's not?
no.
Okay, I
Sleep
don't know.
Token? I
Yes,
don't
yeah.
think so.
Adam whatever.
I'm pretty sure no.
Okay, because everybody was saying something about how he was in Sleep Token. It could have just been a joke, but sorry, not random sidebar.
Maybe I don't know who the I know the vocalist was somewhat famous before, but I didn't know anything about the band he was in. I
He
don't.
wears a mask, doesn't he?
They all wear a mask.
Oh, okay.
But I think they've been doxxed. I mean, he even
Of course.
he even has that a line of one of his songs, Karamoa's, say my real name just to get a rise out of me. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole thing where people try to like, oh, I know who you are, but it's like, dude, fuck you. Like there's a reason I'm wearing a mask. Like
it's like just listen to the music,
stop
bro.
ruining it. No,
Stop
for
fucking
real.
it up.
Anyway, this album, I felt like throughout the album, it had this one line, "Will you halt this eclipse in me?" And it had this one song in particular called "Emergence," and the lyrics is something like come out, or come out from underneath who you were, come out, you know it's time to emerge." And I do like that was like my song of the spring last year. I felt like I was truly kind of like rebirthing myself out of this person who I was for the last like decade, and like really trying to like, because I had gone through this, years of like trying to get away from these things, but feeling stuck and feeling trapped. And dude, it's hard to rewire yourself. It's hard to like change habits that, especially stuff that's surrounding drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. It's really hard to like.
It's really easy to develop bad habits doing shit like that.
Right, and really hard to develop good ones.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, just throughout that album, it repeated this line like, "Will you halt this eclipse in me?" And it just hit me one day. I was like, oh my God, like I feel like this is what reality is. Like so much of society right now is so focused on trying to label everything and trying to label everything, from genders to mental disorders to whatever. We're trying to put a label in everything. But when and the beauty of a label is it does help to categorize things so that way you can find information on what you're looking for, right? And it can help you find help and things like that. But the bad thing is that it generalizes things that aren't always supposed to be generalized. And for example, like anxiety, now all these people, I think anxiety is a spectrum of emotions, but we're using one word. And if you have anxiety, you can now get Adderall or Xanax. But anxiety is this whole spectrum of feeling that mean a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And
just nervousness.
Right. So
You're just nervous
I'm
about
getting
a
a little too far off the
multitude of
track
things.
here, but the point was with like with so much effort in trying to like label and categorize what's what, and it kind of strips away the space for individualism and for uniqueness, I think, in some ways. And I want to know, like, am I a man? Am I a woman? Am I gay? Am I straight? Am I this? Am I that? Dude, I'm fucking Josh. That's who I am. Like, I'm Josh. I don't. What's a male? What's a straight? What's a I yes, whatever. I'm a cishet.
You are
white
what you
male.
feel.
Like I do align mostly with those labels, but if I want to do something else, I want to do something else. At the end of the day, I'm just me. Like I'm just Josh, and that is what allows us to be individual. And I think that like it's hard, honestly, in a society that has so much noise. There's just a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise.
It's a lot. It's a lot of people being like, "Hey, look at me!
Right?
Hey, I'm here! Hey, come over here! Hey, you want to listen to me?" It's a lot of that. So much of that, and it's like, do I really want to listen to you? Like, what do you have to tell me that I don't know? Like, truly, like, what do you know that I don't? Should I know it? Should I tell you what I know? It's like so much information, dude. And I think there's a lot of misinformation, and that's a huge thing now. It's like, how are you supposed to build who you are if you're being told the wrong thing all the time, and then go against that? You know what I mean? That's how like a lot of people that have like crazy, like drastic ways of thinking, and they've been taught that their entire lives, right? Like if I was taught like a certain religion's terrible and you should always hate those people, like, no, I don't want to think that way. But if my family and all the people around me my entire life are implementing that into my idealism, who's to say I'm not gonna think the same way about that, you know? And then that's all wrong. A lot of it is wrong, or like 100% of it's wrong. And then you finally get the truth about things, or like good information, and then you're like, that's misinformation. Like that's rampant now. That is huge, like immensely rampant. And I'm like,
Well,
how do
I
you
think
go
it's
against that?
I think it's too that people are so loudly like parroting somebody else's opinion.
Yeah, like they
Right?
paraphrase a lot.
But they're paraphrasing, but also I'm just saying they're repeating, they're echoing what somebody else said with absolute certainty and resolve. Like
Mhm.
I forget, there was a quote I heard recently, and it was like, we need to be strong in your conviction, but hold your opinions lightly, or
That is,
something like that. To where,
I
because
like that a lot.
you should be able to
I like that a
change your
lot.
opinion because you hear something that proves you wrong,
Mhm.
but be strong in your conviction about whatever your belief is at the end of the day, I think. And I mean, that's definitely tricky, but I mean,
It's
that's
perspective.
right.
Like you have your perspective on things, and it's been taught to you, or you taught yourself, and then you go with that, right?
Hmm.
And then other people, it's like that's all they have. They don't have any other means of like gaining actual factual things
Right.
and being like, yeah, that's the truth. Like
Right.
that's why I'm like, dude, a lot of the times, like we're just staring at media that is just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, to where it's like you'll find those certain people that are like, I don't know what the fuck to think anymore. This is overwhelming. Like, this is like, is that right? Is that wrong? I don't know. And that's where you cause like a big confusion among like the masses.
Mm.
It's like, obviously that's like subjectively, or like that's objectively right. Like that's the truth. But then all these subjective ideas around that are formulating, and then that becomes bigger, right? Like the subjectiveness becomes bigger opposed to the objectiveness.
Mm.
And then that becomes a huge thing for people, and that's what a lot of people would see rather than the truth, the
Right.
fact, you know? Like how are you supposed to dig through all that and be like,
Right.
that's it?
Right. I mean, I think that's the trap with a lot of the misinformation, is because I think there might be some bad actors that are intentionally throwing out so much misinformation that so that you don't know what's right or wrong, and you believe whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think that is some sort of psyop that's definitely going on, especially with political. Like I know politicians definitely do that.
Yeah.
Like they intentionally will inseminate false information on the other side, because if there's so much false information, you don't know what to believe, and there's so much noise, and there's so much disagreements, and just noise, and so much noise, and it literally just does make people be like, fine, fuck it, I don't even want to participate. I don't know. You do whatever you want, and then boom.
I wish there was like a big movement of people being like, you know what? Fuck this. Like, we're gonna go over here and do progressive stuff, like actual progressive shit, and then
See, I think the
away from
problem
all
is there's
that
a lot of people
bullshit.
like me, like I will fully throw myself under the bus here, that like I am overwhelmed and I put my hands up. And I don't know what to do now.
Why?
Like I mean,
Wash your hands and walk away.
Kind of what I'm doing, is washing my hands and walk away. But I mean, that's why I'm doing things like this podcast. Is my goal is to like somehow I just, dude, the machine is huge. You can't fight the machine. How do you, like, you can't.
It's systemic.
It is very systemic. There's parts that we can't just take away.
Right. Like the cogs are already turning, and they're
Right.
only adding more cogs. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
all right, I guess we'll deal with this how it is, and then it just allows it to get worse. And then I don't know. Like there's so much that goes on in this country that makes me just worry so hard. And I'm like, I worry about the next generation and the generation after that, and like how they're gonna think, and
Mm.
how what's going on now is such a huge trajectory for like what's wrong. You know what I mean? Like we'll go well we went from like doing things right, like in like JFK doing things like, hey, like we're trying to do civil rights, hey, we're trying to do this, hey, we're trying to do the right thing, snipe. Hey, another guy comes out, we're trying to do the right thing, we're trying to do this, snipe. Like what the fuck? And then since then it's like, is doing good gonna get me killed? Like, am I gonna die by doing the right thing? Like, and I feel like that's a huge part in like politics, is is the right person actually winning? Like, are they actually winning? In I watch a lot of politics now, and like have you been keeping up with like the Michigan race with like the Stevens lady and her taking like a bunch of APAC money?
No, but I know. I mean, like 2, 3, 4 months ago, I
Casey, I
remember
guess that's her
hearing
name.
that. Like, I mean, I know they had all the. There was like some kid from YouTube went there and he exposed how all this money was going to these
Oh yeah,
daycare
yeah, yeah. I know.
centers, and
I
there
know
was
that
a
guy.
certain guy running for mayor at the time, and he ended up pulling out of the race.
Mm.
That was my see. I don't know where it's at now. I know it was a little while ago.
But like I think his name's Abdul. He took no pack money, like
Mm-hmm.
none, just grassroots, and it's crazy. Like, and it's crazy that I'm saying that it's crazy that a progressive won. Like, and that is like how like finally the good guys are winning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, like the good guys won something,
Mm-hmm.
and that in itself is like kind of becoming rampant now. Like there's the Tennessee race with that Democratic, the guy with the fro, I forgot his name. I'm sorry. He's awesome. I like the way he speaks about things. He's like real progressive. He's probably gonna win. And then we got Mamdani that won the mayoral race over in New York, and it's like that is being noticed so much compared to the bullshit noise that you hear like the last 8 years of like
Mm-hmm.
Trumpism. Sorry if you're a Trumpy, I don't really care. But it's obviously that's noise, and obviously that's not the right thing to think or the right way to go about things. And then you see progressives win, and that is such a big deal. That is such a huge deal to where those people that were spreading all that noise and misinformation are scared. They're shaking in their boots because they're like, people are waking up. The woke are awake. Yeah, like people want
I'm so
a
far.
society where they're happy.
I think I'm honestly so
God
far on the
forbid.
side of the skeptic that like anybody winning seems like a bad guy to me.
It's like,
Because the
yeah,
good guys don't win. So if somebody won, are you a good guy?
I don't like the idea of left and right. I think that's too small. Like
Yeah.
it's top and down, like bottom and up. Like the top guys need to be brought down to a level. The bottom need to bring up.
Mm.
Let's kind of meet around
Well,
there, you
maybe
know?
it's the
Like
teeter totter, like we said before, and there's. I mean, because I mean, I think it is the teeter totter because I think if one side ever stays in power too long, power history of all time has only ever continued to prove that like power unchecked becomes corrupt.
mm-hmm.
Like it only ever becomes corrupt. It doesn't ever last forever, and it
No.
only ever leads to corruption. If there's no checks and balances, there's no like
There's no accountability.
no accountability, then it always
None.
crashes and burns. But then also, I mean, like this is making me think about that show Common Side Effects. Have you seen
Oh
that?
yeah, I love that
And
show,
kind of like
dude.
the whole spoiler alert a little bit, but the whole premise of that show is basically like this guy wants to grow this magic mushroom that requires very specific parameters to grow properly, specific soil, specific whatever, um, you know, it's place to grow. And it's a magic mushroom. It heals everything. And he wants to give it away freely to the world, but
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't want big pharma to take over it because he knows he thinks they'll corrupt it, they'll poison it, they'll make it something twisted that it's not supposed to be. And kind of over the course of the show, he starts to realize like, oh fuck,
And they're trying to snipe.
they're trying to snipe.
They're trying to snipe.
But his realization kind of through the show is like, oh shit, like I don't have the resources to do what I want to do without the help of big pharma.
Yeah, it's
Like he ended up having to. I think he basically sold out. I don't honestly can't remember the exact end. But that was his big realization though, is that like the cog, like you said, the cogs are already turning. They're already there. There's just more cogs. You can't stop the machine.
mm-hmm.
And that sound see, and I don't. I hate saying that, but like I do sometimes feel like I don't know if you can stop the machine.
It seems so dystopian. You're like, God, is that really how it is? And you're like, yeah, it kind of is, and it's only getting worse. Like,
See, and the only reason I want to like accept it is because like I don't think we're meant to live life miserably. I don't think we're meant to live life in fear. I don't think we're meant to live life
we're not born to suffer.
thinking about like in terror of some simulation that is running. Like, so what if there is? Find a way to enjoy each day of it. You know what I mean? Find a way to make to enjoy it and make the most of each experience that you get to have. but anyway, I don't, even with politics and all those things, it's like you talk about like a progressive win. It's like, oh, the good guy's winning, great. But then I think I was saying my fear is like if somebody wins, I always wonder if they're a good guy, because like oftentimes in order to win, you kind of have to be part of what we think is the bad guys. But then also you need the bad guys to have good guys, and
It's a balance, man.
I guess it's all balance.
Yeah, it is a little balance. But here's the thing: going back to the teeter-totter analogy, you can't have one side. One side has to push up in order for the other to go down. So it's a constant like, who can push, who can push, who can push, and that's a constant push. So like the good side's pushing, the bad side's pushing, and it's just all in a balance with each other. And if you have too much of one or the other, and then it's like kind of goes awry. You can't really do much about it.
So what if it's not good and bad then? Like why don't we just take the good and bad label out of it? Because it's like, let's say good is progressive and bad is right or left.
Mm.
What if they both just are? What if there's not a good or a bad there? Because like you said, they're just two people on either end of a teeter-totter. And if you want that teeter-totter to keep moving, then both sides have to keep doing their part.
You got to keep playing that same part. If you don't play your part, it's not going to work. So it's like, do we want it to work? Is this something that we want to like dismantle or keep going with it? Like, we've been in a country for how long? Like 300 and something odd years? Like
250, right?
250.
Well, it was just our 250th.
Yeah, I don't even know. That's how much attention I paid to this place. But like, it's, I don't know. Like, there's so many civilizations that do certain things and then they collapse, or like they go through certain, like I watched a thing about Iran, how they're basically just like the place where people can go in and do things, and then they're just like resilient. Like they're just like, all right, you come in and invade us, well, this is how we do it. And then they have to implement their ideologies into what they're doing currently, so it works. So like all their books, all their language, like they had to come in, invade, learn the language because it was already working, right? Like people try to come into this country and they get kicked out, and they're just like, hey, I want to live here and like make this place work too, you know? Like
Right.
I want to actually help, but it's like over there, like Iran, like they had a history, like hundreds and hundreds of years of just constant like being invaded. All right, developing, being invaded, develop, invade, develop, and then that's just who they are now. And then they're just getting fucking bombarded constantly. And it's over. We're over here like, yeah, we got it all fucking made, but we just gotta deal with the fucking politics over here and all the bullshit.
I mean, I was doing a little bit like of
Food sucks.
I was trying to research a bit about like Jews, and like pretty much since the beginning of their inception, Jews have been the outcast group. And
Yeah.
so they've always had to like figure out how to make it for themselves without the help of the rest of the world, because most of the world has usually hated them.
I don't know why. It's just there's so much that goes into hatred. It's like, what part did you play on like having this many people hate on you for whatever?
You do gotta
Like,
wonder.
It's
You do gotta
weird.
wonder.
I don't understand. Like,
Because on the
I would love to understand.
one hand, it feels like they overcome adversity story, but then it's also, but why is there always adversity?
Yeah, like, there's a
And
reason.
it's
why
not, that's
there's
not me trying to
adversity.
point fingers, but it is like, it's just a question. It's like, why is there like,
Why do you keep getting stones thrown at you? Like,
Yeah.
you're doing something.
yeah, like I often will hear people like, you know, so and so yelled at me today. I don't understand why. I didn't do anything. There was
Maybe you were
nothing
a
I did."
dick.
And I'm like,
Maybe you were a jerk.
people don't just go yelling without you doing anything. Now, maybe they overreacted, but you did something to initiate. You probably like 90% of the time, you do something to like initiate some of that friction.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like hate out there, man. I don't like it for no reason. Like there's just like unprovoked hatred is so fucking stupid to me. Like, why are there racists? Like, why? Because they're different than you? Because like,
See, but
It's-
that's something that's so natural though. Like it is. I mean, it's something I've experienced in my own life that like anytime, like I was in high school, I was the only white kid on the basketball team. I never won an argument. Nobody ever took my side.
no.
I didn't think it was racist, but I just like people are going to gravitate towards people that feel similar to them. I think that's like an evolutionary survival tactic, because if it's not familiar to you, that's kind of scary and it might hurt you.
It could.
Like now, why are people racist? I mean, I don't know, but like, I don't think it's, the problem is too, is that I think society is like, tries to like be like, just be colorblind. It's like, dude, it is natural to see somebody with a different skin tone. And I think like, if something inside my DNA is like, well, that's different. That doesn't, it makes, yes, I'm maybe a little bit apprehensive because my body wants to figure out, do I trust this thing that looks different from me? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that is inherently bad, but then it's people taking that and generalizing entire groups of people. And that's when it becomes messy. But then again, lots of the stereotypes didn't come out of nowhere, so I don't always, it's such a tricky,
it is so tricky.
Such a tricky thing.
Like there'll be like one of those like white missionary people go over to Africa, and then like a whole village, they're just like, I've seen videos of this like probably a few times, where like a whole group of kids are just like, whoa, touching their skin, or like the like like the native people that don't ever see regular people. Like, this guy went up to him, he was white, and they were just like touching him. Like, they were just curious.
Yeah.
They were just naturally curious. They weren't like, I hate you because of that. Like,
see, and that's a good example. That's a good example. So I wonder, like, is it something society has taught us to be afraid of what's different?
Yes.
Maybe it's not evolutionary.
I think so.
to be afraid of something different. Maybe that's something that's learned. Because that is a good point. Because there are plenty of examples of more curiosity. Yeah, you're right. Because it is. In other examples, yeah, there's just pure curiosity. It's, what is that different thing? But like,
you embrace the out of the norm, is what like a lot of people outside of this country will do. They're like, oh, that's not normal. I'm curious about that. I want to know more. Aside from over here, where we're like, I don't know about that. I'm uncomfortable. I'm gonna not like you. Like it's just some kind of.
See, where did that come from? Because that is like a more prevalent thing, I think. Especially like since 2020 and on, I feel like people are more suspicious of each other. Like, I definitely notice it. I feel like on the highway, I feel like people are ruder drivers than ever before. People don't ever, and myself included, I don't really give people the benefit of the doubt. If you cut me off, I assume you did it on purpose and you're an asshole.
You're an insta-dick.
We don't ever like assume, oh, maybe they didn't see me, or maybe they were having a bad day. Maybe they just had to take a shit, and they're like, we always assume something negative about the person, pretty instantaneously. And
like, you don't think about the perspective a lot. Like the multitude of perspectives that could be in that one situation. Right. Where it's like, yeah, they could be needing to take a shit. Yeah, they need to take a piss. Or we do gravitate a lot more so to the negative.
But part of that is because I think, so some of that I think is learned from experience, because I think we all experience, dude, so like when I was 18, well, like around the time I met you, I was like a fucking freshie, right? Like I hadn't really experienced much bad stuff in the world. I had a good family growing up. I was a Christian homeschool kid, so I was pretty sheltered in that regard. I didn't really have a lot of friends, but I didn't get bullied either per se. So like I hadn't really ever experienced people that just hurt you for no reason. So in my head, it was like, people are good, people are nice, whatever. Then I moved to Dallas, and my very first experience in Dallas was with this girl that was clinically schizophrenic, and like, I don't know what all she had going on, but long story short, that living situation didn't work out. She kicked me out, and I didn't do anything wrong, and it freaked me out because I was like, why would she do that? Like, what? I didn't do anything wrong, so why would anything bad happen to me? Like, because it was that black and white in my mind before. You be a good person, people treat you like good person, and I quickly learned, no, that's not the fucking case.
It's not that cut and dry.
It's not that cut and dry,
unfortunately.
And then like furthermore, like, I got robbed the first time I got robbed, and it was like,
it's never a good feeling.
It's such a terrible feeling. It was like, oh my God, like this can happen. I had never experienced those things before, so never had to think about it. And so it's unfortunate. Like, dude, I was reading in this book. It's like a Celtic lore book, and it's anyway, this there was like a bear that attacks these kids, and the kids have to fight them off or whatever. And the one of the kids, he's almost dead, and like this healer witch lady is like taking care of him, and she's like looking at him, she's thinking like how brave he is, and how on the one hand he's going to be lauded as a hero and people are going to praise him, and his name is going to be known forever now because of this one experience. But then she's like, but on the other hand, he has now experienced almost dying, and he before didn't have a fear of death. You know what I mean? Because if you haven't had that experience, you don't have a fear of death. So you're fearless. You're willing to take big risks. You're willing to try things you wouldn't try before. But then you have a brush with death, and now you're maybe a little more hesitant, and maybe you're a little more afraid to take a risk that you would have otherwise.
Right.
You know, and so like
You're more adverse to it.
it's kind of sad because like the more we go through life, I think the more bad things we end up experience, which lead us to be more jaded. We become more fearful. We become more, you know, afraid of stepping out and doing the crazy shit, and that and it makes us more like, I don't know, but I think, I mean, I don't, I think that's just part of existence. That's part of being human and experiencing. And I think everybody experiences it. No matter, I don't think that's just civilized society that's created that. Because I feel like even if we lived on a farm, there's going to be a bad year where all the crops get wiped out, and that creates this fear in your mind that what if the crops get wiped out? What do we do?
Yeah.
But it builds you the resilience because now you know how you handle it the next time that happens. So it grows you as a person, I guess. But
I love that about like just being human. Like you can fail at so many things and then become such a master at it. You know, like failing is what helps you become better
Right.
at anything. And I feel like a lot of people could take that and just like a lot of folks will take failure and just accept it. And I'm like, no, like don't accept failure for what it is. Accept failure as a way to expand who you are and what you want to do. Like you will always take failure and grow with it. Aside from like taking failure and just accepting it. Like, yep, I'm a failure. Nope. It's too
like, what can you learn from that failure?
Yeah, like if you fail at it multiple times, you're gonna learn why you're failing at it.
Right.
You're gonna learn what not to do, and that's with a lot of different aspects of life. I think. Like, I've learned a lot from cooking and like doing the wrong things, and that is the best stepping stone to understanding how to have a like the most perfect finished product you can make. Like if you're baking a cake, you didn't add a leavening into it, and you get to the final product, you're like, I made a mistake. I wonder what that is. And then you look back and then you're like, that's what I did wrong. And then you put that in and then it's a better cake. And then you just go from there. And it's like, you could do that.
Honestly, it's
with
making
anything.
it's making the mistake that gives you more comprehensive knowledge of the entire baking of the cake to where then you can actually, because if you haven't made that mistake before, you wouldn't know how to troubleshoot that.
Yeah, exactly. So we have every means of being like, okay, I know I did that wrong. Like I can take that and then just do it again the next day, and then try again and try again and try again. It's like you could do that with anything.
Right.
Like it doesn't even have to be a cake. It could be like just your workout routine. It could be your diet. It could be like how you go about your family, you know, talking to your friends. It's just, oh, I said the wrong thing to this person. Well, I could just have another conversation and say the right things. Like if you're trying to develop a friendship and then you realize that they don't like talking about I don't know, like geopolitics or some shit random. Like I don't have to talk about geopolitics in front of them, and maybe they'll like me more.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And that's something I've like working on myself is like, you know, I said recently, this has been a season of me trying to learn to embrace my weird and embrace who I am. And because I think for a long time I tried to like predict what people would and wouldn't like about me, and then only show them the things I thought they would like about me. But then that's fucking exhausting.
Oh my God.
Like, you know, and
because then you're not you. You're not being you.
Right. You're just performing.
Yeah, exactly. You're acting at that point for that person, and that's not right. I don't know. I feel like
it's not fair to you. It's not fair to them because you're not even giving them a chance to. I think what somebody, I forget how it was phrased, but it was that like, who the fuck do you think you are that you know exactly what everybody else thinks? Like, how do you think you are so good that you can predict what somebody else will and won't like about you? You're gonna baby them and try to handle and try to prevent them from feeling this type of way. Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that's such like you think when you're doing it, you think I'm doing this because I care about people because no, dude, you just think you're so much better that you can actually you can you know think 10 steps ahead of everybody and always, and that's That's preposterous.
Yeah, that's not
You
how you
can't.
go about it.
Yeah.
You gotta talk, learn, talk, learn.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all you can understand. Like if you're trying to understand somebody, you learn from what they tell you, and you're taking all that information in as like that's what they're telling you.
Right.
Like you're not gonna assume they're lying, right? Or they're giving you a facade. It's you're like, okay, this person's like being pretty forthcoming. And then you learn later on that some of the stuff wasn't true. It's like, huh, now is everybody telling me the truth? And that one thing, that one like off track thing that happens to you can set you up for such random like thinking, like, oh yeah, that guy lied to me, that girl lied to me. How am I supposed to trust anybody? How am I
Mm-hmm.
supposed to like understand who somebody is if they're not telling me who they are?
See, and that's one of the things that like we have to be very intentional about sometimes, I think, because again, like when you get robbed, that makes you want to stop trusting people. 'Cause you're
Yeah.
like, oh shit, like I can't trust people because they're gonna, and it's like, but if you start going around with this chip on your shoulder that I can't trust people, that clearly does not lead to a good place. That just leads to isolation.
Right.
You become lonely. You become depressed. Like that's not the right lesson to take away from being hurt. Right. Now, I guess you can like, I don't know, learn to, set better boundaries and secure yourself better, secure your stuff better, whatever. It depends on the situation.
Because there was a mistake in that.
There was a mistake. There was something I could have done different. Right. Yeah.
I've gotten robbed too. It's the worst feeling, dude. You feel betrayed. You feel like violated.
Right.
And
The violation is the
it's
big
so
one.
bad. Like it's such a horrible feeling. But like, like I can't take that and be like, oh yeah, I did everything right.
Mhm.
Obviously I didn't. Like I could have locked my doors better. I could have like been more like more alert.
Mhm.
I could have not spoken to a certain person.
But see, this is this is one of the things that's so scary about being human, though, is you can't judge a book by its cover, right? So somebody robs me and they display these 9 characteristics, and then I meet somebody else that displays 3 of those same characteristics. I'm like, oh, yep, see, they're going to rob me too because they had a couple of things are similar, but it's like I can't think to come up with like specific examples of what I'm trying to say here, but like that doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like if you're with a guy and you've never met him before, and I'm trying to think of this feels like a bad example, but let's say you see somebody snap, get frustrated, right? And you think, oh, this guy has anger issues. He's somebody I can't trust because he has anger issues. And so then you just automatically label that guy with that. And then you learn later on that specific day he had just gotten fired. He had been wrong by his job, whatever. So there's certain reasons why he snapped that day. And you realize that like beyond that one slip of character, this guy was actually very trustworthy, very dependable. He's very loyal. He would never hurt anybody. You know what I mean? But but if you judged on that one, anytime you saw somebody get angry, that means they're gonna hit you, right? I mean, that's like definitely a trauma thing and abuse and stuff like that. Is if somebody gets angry, they're gonna hit me. It's like, well, no, anger is an emotion that people feel, and
it's a natural feeling.
It's a natural feeling, and it's normally expressed, yes, through raising your voice and possibly hitting things, just not people,
right?
And I honestly, those things are very healthy. Like raising your voice is healthy. Like that is something we do to like release energy, right?
Yes.
It's an expression, and that's not something that should be demonized or looked at as solely a bad thing. But obviously, if it's paired with hitting somebody every time, then that's something bad.
Do you feel better after you scream as loud as you can, or do you feel worse?
I feel more empty.
Yeah.
So sometimes it feels maybe like a little.
I feel like it's letting off steam.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's letting off steam.
Yeah.
I don't know that I feel better than like, oh, I'm good now, but I feel like a release of that pressure that was building.
Yeah. So it's like if you have a pot and it's just overboiling and it's like the foam starts coming out, like letting a scream out can like just lessen that foam coming up. Yeah, I'll do that sometimes. Like where I'm in the car, I'm just like, man, I'm having a bad day. I'm just gonna fucking hollers, like scream as loud as I can, and then I do it, and I'm like, that was so quick.
Yeah.
Like just a little, like even if it's a little bit alleviating, like stress wise, like
I think just vibrating your vocal cords in general, singing, screaming,
dude, I love singing,
just humming, whatever. I think all those things like definitely can help to like release energy or move energy through your body. I don't know if it's releasing, but it moves it through you.
You're using a different part of your brain, so it's like helping, like it's taken away from what you're currently feeling
Right.
for a separate feeling for like even a split moment, and then you're back and you're like, huh. It's like pulling back a little bit, doing something out of the norm can make you feel different than how you currently feel.
Right.
Like anything, like going for a walk. Like I used to be so depressed, dude. So fucking depressed. I would wake up with just existential dread, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then one day I was just like, I'm just gonna go for a walk. I'm just gonna walk.
Yeah.
And then I walk around my neighborhood. I walk like a mile, maybe 2 miles, and I just forget about what I was worried about. Like, and I do that almost every day now, where I'm like, okay, instead of laying here worrying and having anxiety, I'll say, fuck y'all. I'm going outside and I'm walking and I'm gonna feel better. And I always do. Even if I'm like having the worst time, at least I'm not feeling as bad as I did feel then.
There's something magical for sure about a walk that, and I learned that when I was young, honestly, because I remember like from 14 to 16, 17, around those years, me and my parents argued like every night. I feel like, and I don't remember about what. It was stupid shit. I think they were on my ass a lot, and I felt a lot of pressure as a young kid, and I was like, give me space, back off, and they weren't backing off, and so that just, we were just kind of always upset at each other. And yeah, the only way I found a release, because at night, and I would just go walk, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, I'd have all this energy that was like, your brain is spinning, you're just like, this sucks, I shouldn't have, and then you go walk, and like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it gets quieter and quieter and quieter and quieter. Yeah.
It's
movement
like,
is definitely magical.
It's like, you know how like atoms are whenever it's boiling, they're like,
yeah,
it's like your brain.
Yeah,
and then you're like, all right, cool down.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna, all right, we're good. We're great now.
Right.
We can sustain ourselves. But yeah, it's a really good thing, man. Like, I wish everybody would go on walks. It helps so much. Like, eating decent and walking, like, that'll help anybody throughout their lives.
Eating decent, getting a good night's sleep, and walking, or any form of movement. But I think walking is the easiest one that most people should be able to do. And yeah. I definitely agree that, like, especially with all the shit we've talked about, like, purpose and pressure of what we're supposed to do, and individualism and all that. I do think that, like, at the end of the day, sometimes you just go take a walk.
Yeah. Take a stroll. Relax. It's all good. It'll be okay. Trust me. Just go for a walk.
Sweet, dude. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for joining me on this expansion of the journey and creating the 3-camera shot. Hopefully it all looked good, and
it was a great yap-a-thon.
It was a great yap-a-thon, man. Thanks for joining.
Hell yeah.